but he's got his wallet in his back pocket. And I'm gonna stop. Hey, you stop right there. I need to talk to you. You can turn around. Okay? Hey, come here. I need to talk to you. At this moment, you need to go. You already know what the deal is, right? So you're going for your wallet. Go ahead and go for your wallet. Hey, I need to talk to you. Bam, bam, bam. You're dead. Careful. Don't do it. Don't do it. Why would I shoot him?
Because you think that he was gonna pull out a gun or something, and then you don't even know what he was gonna pull out, so you just shot him.
Fear for my safety. Bingo, you hit it right on the dot. That's exactly what has allowed police officers, unfortunately, to use weapons or their gun against people, even if all they're going for is a wallet. What happened, Jonathan? There was a black immigrant in New York from, I can't pronounce the last name right now.
I'm sorry, I think there was on the news that this guy, he was in the store, he had stole something. The cop got him and told him to go back in the store and pay for what he had stole. He reached in his jacket to get out his wallet and the cop shot him.
Yeah, and you see, you have a right idea about what's going on here. You have to be very careful how you handle police officers, because unfortunately, they have been getting away with a lot, including the shooting of innocent, honest people. And here's the worst. You all as men, and especially black men, people of color, you are the highest rates are going to be you if you're singled out. So you need to be careful. As a teacher, I always tell my students, be calm, keep your hands where they can see them. If you get pulled over, don't act foolish, don't act crazy, because they're going to say, I fear for my life. Don't start reaching for things, because you don't want to give anybody with a gun and a badge a right to hurt you. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not doing that, okay? So the Fourth Amendment is the same way, by the way. If I fear for my safety, and let's say Jonathan's walking, and I know him to be, say, a gang member or a drug dealer. So Jonathan, you want to be walking real quick? Jonathan's walking, and I fear, I need to talk to him. All right, hey, excuse me, stop right there. I need to talk to you. You can respond. Well, you know what? Right now, we're investigating the crime. Can you get up against the wall? I need you up against the wall, please. All right, put your hands up there. Okay, I just need to pat you down real quick. Got any guns? Got any weapons on you? No. No? All right. You see what I just did? Go ahead. All right, hey, there's a crime you just committed. You fit the profile. They said the guy with glasses and a big mustache happened to be the guy who committed that crime, so that's why I'm stopping you. That's what I'm investigating. You obviously don't have any weapons. Do you have any ID?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and maybe I'll take it out, right? Let me before I go, do you see how I told him to get up against the wall? It's called a Terry stop. A Terry stop. In 1966, I believe it is, 3 men in front of the department store were standing in front of the department store. It's late at night, the police show up, and this is in Ohio. They pull up and they search all 3 of them. One of them had a weapon or something, I can't remember what it was, but they went to jail for weapons or drugs, and the police officer, they challenged this. The police officer said, the men challenged it, and the police officer said, no, I feared for my life. I wanted to make sure that they didn't have weapons. Keep this in mind, everybody. That is still the law today. They can still stop and search you. But you see how once I patted him down, did I find any weapons on you? And at that point, as an officer, now I have no more reason to search him, because I didn't find any weapons on him. It's called a Terry stop after the man who was prosecuted. The cops, the police officers won that case. So if you guys ever get pulled over, just remember, comply. Don't do anything silly. Don't give anybody reason to arrest you or do worse. But also, once they pat you down, if they find nothing on you, they have to stop questioning, or they have to stop harassing you or touching you or anything like that. They can still question you about what you're doing out late. Do you know do you know by any chance the rule? You're the oldest one, right? What's the curfew in Fresno? When you're hanging out, how old do you have to be out past, say, 10 o'clock? 18, is that correct in Fresno County? I think it's 16.
I was younger.
Yeah, I think it's 16. But you have to have also, is somebody with a job. So be careful, because if you don't have a job, you're supposed to be in bed because you're supposed to be in school the next day. So if the police stop you after 10 o'clock at night, especially like that, and you're a teenager, you have to be careful. You two are teenagers right now, so you two would definitely have to understand that this law protects you, but also gives the law enforcement the right to search you for their own safety. It's called a Terry search. I want you guys to be aware of that. Any questions on this?
What are the by law, when it comes to ID, what is the minimum that if the police pull you over, what is the minimum that you have to show them?
After the First Amendment, after the Arizona passed law, it's called Papers, Please, where the sheriff was going after immigrants specifically on the way they look. Because, and that, which is profiling, and some of us know that, right? It's not fair. If I look at Patch and I see him, I'm like, hey, you know what, this guy might be a criminal. Because Raider fans, they're all criminals. And he's running Patch like a Raider, like an Oakland Raider. I want to talk to this guy, I'm going to pull this guy over, I want to see give me your ID. Well, you can't pull people over just because the way you look. You can't do that. You have to suspect the crime. But now, here's what the law says. You have to have a minimum of something recognized like a California ID. That includes, for example, do you all have school IDs? That works, that's perfect. You don't need a driver's license. I can have a driver's license. Maybe you have a social security card, or not social security card. Maybe you have a certain card with your picture on it. That might work. Maybe you have a work ID when you work at your job. You don't have a driver's license. But you guys have picture IDs. My students get them too. And I tell them, carry it. And here's the reason why. After this Arizona law, there you go. After this Arizona law passed, the Supreme Court said that police officers can ask you for ID. Now here's the thing. If I stop Jonathan, if I'm a police officer and I suspect somebody committed a crime, or I stop Patch, somebody who fits his description, and Pat does not have an identification of any kind, I can hold him up to 8 hours until I verify his identity. He told me his name was Pat. Oh, well, just go down to the station, we'll just have to verify it somehow. And it might take me 8 hours, but he doesn't have ID. How do I know he's not the guy that committed the crime? And I saw this happen to my friend and his son in LA. And their crime was they crossed the street when the light was red. They're coming from big, they're walking. And you know LA, if you've been in LA, you're trying to beat the light. These guys were just trying to beat, and their father and son, they weren't doing anything wrong, but because neither of them had identification, they were held for 8 hours at what they call the Twin Towers, the LA County Jail. And they're from Fresno, so it wasn't a very good day for him because he had a big tattoo on his forehead that said, guess what? Fresno. Not good for him. Now, his son had to go to juvenile hall, but they held him. People were calling me, people were calling his wife. He says that Rick, is he related to you? Rick, he says they held him for 8 hours. So, unfortunately, my advice to you is always carry that ID that you get from school that you have, because law enforcement, they really want to be jerks about it. They can hold you for a while. And it's not easy going to jail. It's not easy fun being in jail. So if you don't want to go to jail, just do good, show that, hey, yes sir, no sir, can make. And but what happens? What if happens if I find nothing on you? I patted you down. What can you ask the police officers? Anybody know the magic words? What are they?
Are you allowed to do that?
Wait a second. As a police officer, are you allowed to pat them down? Well, we talked about that. They kind of are allowed if they fear for their safety. But there's a better question you can ask them after they're done patting you down and all that. After they're done seeing that you did commit a crime. Have you ever heard of the word, am I free to leave? Am I free to leave, officer? Now, if you're 14 or 12 or say, they're probably not going to let you go right away because you're a minor, right? They probably want to make sure that you're safe. But if you're Jonathan, and I pat him down, and I didn't find anything, Jonathan can say, excuse me, officer, am I free to leave? Because after all, I'd like to get on with my day if I haven't committed a crime. You too can ask the same thing. Sometimes police officers aren't used to hearing that, but one of my students came, he's 18, he's got a job, he comes the next day, and I teach this in my class, and one of my students comes up and he's laughing, Mr. Rita, guess what? I said, what? He goes, I got stopped in the park by the cops yesterday. All three of them came up to me, And they look scared, because this guy's about 6'4", he's a big guy. And I said, what's going on? Why'd you get stopped? What were you doing wrong? And he goes, nothing. He goes, I'm walking home from work. And he goes, but I'm laughing because I did exactly what you told me to do. I complied, I said that, blah, blah, blah. And then I asked him the magic words, am I free to leave? And he said that the police officers were shocked, surprised. Where'd you hear this from? And he said, my teacher taught me that. And the cop said, yeah, you're free to leave. Because the truth is, if I have nothing on him, if he's done nothing wrong, why am I going to waste your time? And I shouldn't. I work for you if I'm a police officer. And you got to go on your way. You got your job. You got your family, things like that. So you all be careful. Just be careful. Always carry yourself with respect. Carry yourself with dignity. Hold your head up high. Don't give anybody a reason to look down on you. But stay cool under pressure. All right. Fifth Amendment. Anybody want to read some right?